Hey guys, and welcome to episode 1 of Terminal.
The series where we look at those quirky and inspiring stories that aren't usually given much attention. Let's have a look. First up, something everyone hates, traffic jams. Here in Perth, Australia, we look at the current issue of urban sprawl.
Next, we're making some noise into the world of avant-garde music, where we meet the people who make it and ask them why.
But not everyone can be a creative genius. Or can they? We meet a sculptor and full-time artist who gives us some insight into creativity. Stay tuned. This is Terminal TV. And later on, sink your teeth into one of our comedy shorts called The Butcher. It's a killer. My name's Nick.
And I'm Jane, and welcome to Terminal. How come you were so late getting in today, Nick?
Oh, it's just... my bus takes an hour and a half to get here, and I missed it, and it doesn't come for another hour, and it really sucks.
Ouch. Well, our first segment is about just that, how the wide sprawl of urbanism can affect people like you and me. Let's check it out.
Perth has become a huge city. The onward growth of housing to the north and south has left us questioning our future. This is called urban sprawl.
People's lives are built around the centre, but as developments occurred over the years, that development has spread, and in Perth's case it's spread along the coast in particular. There's some sprawl occurring east, and particularly in the southeast area, and now the northeast.
Where did it come from and how did it start? Urban sprawl has been in our culture since the 1900s. Australia was known as the land of the free. Settlers who moved to Australia were promised a land of peace, with a big house on a big block of land with a big garden where they could live out the rest of their days. This was known as the Great Australian Dream. But today, it has created more problems than the settlers could have predicted. It is a struggle for most people to get to work. The city's long landscapes make Perth the most car-dependent city in Australia. For those who don't drive are cramped into trains, the excessive amount of cars on the road leads to miles of congestion, drivers become stressed, and more emissions are polluted. Urban sprawl also impacts the younger generation, leaving students like Toby with expensive travel costs and much time spent waiting for transport.
There's a lack of public transport that gets out here. There's one bus that I can catch, and that bus is a very uncommon bus. It runs every hour or so, and on Sundays it doesn't run at all. So it's just, so if it's on a Sunday, you're not going home then. I do have to be really organised for uni. I feel like maybe if I lived closer, or if I had a car, or even if I had a car, I'm still getting up an hour before my classes to get to uni. I go to uni in Curtin, which is in Bentley. It's probably about an hour and a half, if I'm lucky, by train or by public transport to there. And it's definitely not walking distance, I'll tell you that. There might be opportunities, but all the things I do are definitely outside this area, but a lot closer to the CBD.
There is a state government policy called Directions 31, which is a planning policy that outlines what are the key metropolitan centres. For instance, the state government promised to move a major department down here, and that would mean that you'd have, say, 1,000 people working in that department, and then they would, be based in Fremantle. They'd shop locally. They might decide to move down here.
What Directions 2031 is suggesting is replacing our established residential areas with vertical infill.
Perth doesn't have quite the sort of verve or life or energy that they experience when they go to Melbourne or Sydney, and that's true. And one of the reasons that those cities have got a lot of life is that they've got a lot of people living close in, and but we need to make sure they're not just put in there. We need to make sure there's quality outcomes, quality services, quality design for that development, so that those centres can really thrive.
The challenge we have for ourselves is increasing the population without increasing the land. The future of Perth depends on Australians changing the way we live.
That was a real interesting take on urban sprawl. You'd think that having so much space would be a good thing.
We might ask our crew what they think about it in our last segment, Crew and A. But before that, we're going to explore the history and world of avant-garde music, an experimental platform for musical creatives to express their passion.
From computers to power tools, people are trying to find new ways to make noise.
Noise is everywhere. I mean, pretty much in everything. Noise can express pretty much any emotion you want it to.
Noise started in the early 20th century with people like Luigi Russolo and Marcel Duchamp, who were part of the Futurist art movement. They were trying to find an extreme to music. This continued throughout the 20th century, even with people like John Cage, who experimented with minimalist sound. Continuing into the 21st century, people from Japan have continued to push noise further, with people such as Mertzbau, Masona, and Yamataka Ai being at the forefront. Violence has even been included in the shows, with people destroying venues in the process. If you want to make noise, experiment and just enjoy yourself.
I just love it.
It must take a lot of guts to create music like that. Some people might think it's weird, but if you love it, you got to do it.
Exactly. And music is such a creative outlet. It's amazing the kinds of things it can do to our minds and bodies. And the great thing about avant-garde music is that it's so rare and unique.
We have more music coming up today. The band Three Tails will be playing some indie folk music for us later on. But first, what is creativity?
In my opinion, creativity is a product or byproduct of curiosity, in the simplest terms. I don't know, it's something that sort of pervades your entire life if you choose for that to be a part of your life. It becomes your entire life. So.
Creativity. Usually we think that it's something you were born with or not. It's as if some people were gifted with this talent and everyone else has to carry on without it. But is it possible that we're all creative? Most of us believe that creativity is an extension, a plugin that only certain people can download. But the truth is, creativity isn't exclusive, it's universal.
If you show some element of curiosity about the world, what comes from that curiosity is in essence creativity.
Abdul Rahman Abdullah, a full-time artist based in Perth, focuses his work mainly on sculpting, drawing and installation.
The basis of what I do now, I suppose, is looking at these childhood stories, childhood memories. I spend a lot of time in the studio literally working, physically working on something, crafting things with my hand. And it's like trying to work out jigsaws with no pieces. Some things come easy, some things are just a battle. As long as it's a win every day, you'll keep going.
Shaping your imaginative brain is like house training a puppy. It doesn't just happen overnight. You have to keep at it every day.
It's just practice, relentless practice. Yeah, no one comes to this necessarily innate just talent for things. It's practice and hours and time spent.
We all know it's not easy. It's not as simple as being creative because there's no right or wrong answers when it comes down to it. But the difference between a master and an amateur is that the master has failed more times than the amateur has tried.
So like there is a sort of a point where everyone starts off where it just comes natural, sort of an unmediated thing. You'll draw, you'll make marks, you'll do these things, you'll make your messes. The vast majority of people just stop doing that, you know, and then direct themselves into, I guess, maybe more useful approaches to life. Looking at the world creatively, and for that means looking at the world with curiosity. That doesn't really ever disappear. So from that point of view, it is part of everyone, and can be, and it's not like if you put it down, you can't pick it up again, because of course you can. And I mean, to me, it's just part of kind of having fun with your entire life, hopefully.
If you have a brain, then you have creativity. But it's the people who choose to spark it, to train it and to feed it, that stand out among us as innovators. And so the question is, are you creative?
You know, Nick, I never thought of myself as creative. I thought it was something you were born with, like good looks or intellect.
But maybe that's the problem. Maybe the first step is to, think like a creative person. Our minds can be more powerful than you think.
We certainly had to think creatively with our next short. We were given nothing but a park bench and a lamppost to create a script. So ever had an awkward conversation at a bus stop? Here's one that you'll never forget. Is that blood?
Yeah. Just came from work. Didn't have time for a change of clothes.
What do you do?
I'm a butcher.
So you're a murderer, killing innocent animals just for food? You disgust me.
Food chain, ma'am. Animals eat us, we eat animals. Circle of life.
Animals have just as much right as you or I do to live.
I'm just doing my job, ma'am. And how would you like it if someone says you can't do your job? What do you even do?
I'm a housewife. I spend my whole life taking care of others around me, unlike you. You're probably a single man who'll die alone because of your bloodthirst towards other animals. You can't help yourself to slaughtering others.
Are you a vegan, by any chance?
Yes, I am. Why do you want to know?
You vegans are all the same. Protest this, animal rights that. Everyone's a murderer to you. And you can't help just forcing your way of life down everyone's throats. You ever thought about letting people live their fucking lives the way they want to? You should be disgusted in yourself, not in me.
How dare you speak to me like that? I'm allowed freedom of speech, so I voice my opinions. What is that? Is that a hand?
That's what happened to the last vegan who voiced their opinion. Damn, the one that got away. Ma, bring the car round.
Hello everyone, welcome to Central Institute of Technology's TV studio. I'm Michael, the producer, and I'm going to be going backstage to ask the crew some hard-hitting journalistic questions. Now, as you can see above us, the red flashing light is on at the door, which means they are broadcasting in there. You know what? We're going to go in anyway, because, well, I'm the producer and I do what I want. Come on through. Just mind the step there. Coming through. Here we have the set. Hi guys, hey everyone. All right, come this way for our first victim. All right, hello sir. What is your name and what do you do on the set?
My name's Louis and I run the script for the teleprompter over there, just on camera too.
And is it a hard job, Louis?
Not very.
One question, Louis. Would it be all right if I wrote the word penis on the script somewhere?
Probably not.
Bummer. Anyway, moving on. Next up, we have this lovely lady right here. Hello, what is your name?
I'm Jade.
And what is it that you do on the set?
I'm floor manager.
And what does it involve to being a floor manager?
Keeping everyone on time.
And how much time do we have left? Ooh, just quickly then. Shag, marry or kill. Channing Tatum, Barack Obama, Pope Francis.
Shag Channing Tatum, marry Barack Obama and kill Pope Francis.
Scandalous. Moving on. Up in the window there we have the control booth. They didn't let me up there. They seem a little highly strung. Nothing to see there, folks. Moving on. Next up we have our camera operator here, sir. What is your name?
Liam.
Quick question for you, Liam. Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 50 duck-sized horses?
Not really sure how to respond to that.
Right. Well, that'll do it, guys. That's all we've got time for. Back to you guys on the set.
And a big thanks to our film and TV students here on Terminal. I've been Nick.
And I've been Jane, and you've been amazing. We'll leave you today with the song Come Find Me by Three Tails. Thanks for watching our first episode of Terminal. So until next week, see ya. Penis.
Sometimes you keep things to yourself. Try to confide, but no one's around. I'm here to tell you, you ain't the only one. I got fears and doubts myself. Be careful who you open to. For the world might not be ready. You ever feel like the walls are closing in? Just come find me. Just come find me. I'll give you all my love. Just come find me. Every day is a new day. Can I stand and watch you suffer in your mind? Is our soul oft is the same? Or does it help you with your pain? You're old enough to understand. Deepest fears can consume our fragile lives. So if you ever need a voice to soothe you down, just come find me. Just come find me. I'll give you all my love. Just come find me. Oh, just come and find me. Just come and find me. Let the river wash out all the dirty rain. Oh, just come and find me. Come and find me. Oh, just come and find me. Let the river wash out all the dirty rain. Oh, just come and